eyes on me. Show me where your hands go. Good. Today we're going to watch the movie I Need My Monster. Now, we have seen it before on Storyline Online with Screen Actors Guild, but we're going to watch a different version where they're reading it to us because Mrs. Duckworth, our librarian, does not have it in the library, and I didn't have a copy of it right now, so this is the next best thing, okay? Before we watch the movie, the story called I Need My Monster, we are going to talk about prepositions. Prepositions are words, sometimes they call them position words, but the big word is prepositions. Say prepositions.
Prepositions.
Now, what do you think I just wrote there, everybody?
Prepositions.
Yes. Prepositions could be words like
On, over, beside, below, under.
One more time.
Under, below.
Well, yeah, there are others. You're right. There are others. Like around, or there's all kinds of prepositional words.
Below, others. Over, under, others. Beside.
Shh, raise your hand. On an E, put those back. Now, in this story, I Need My Monster, we're going to listen to find the prepositions, and when you hear a preposition, like one of those that we just looked at, eyes on me, you're going to go, what are you going to do when you hear a preposition?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to start the video so that we can see it, and then we will work on prepositions, and we'll talk more about why they're important, why we need to learn about prepositions, when we're going to see them, and so right now we're going to start the video. So lights out. Can you pause it and start the video, or okay, I'll start the video. Pay close attention.
I Need My Monster. Written by Amanda Knoll. Tonight, when I looked under my bed for my monster, I found this note instead. Gone fishing. Back in a week. Gabe. What was I going to do? I needed a monster under my bed. How was I supposed to get to sleep if my monster was gone? I tried to sleep, but it wasn't the same without Gabe. I missed his ragged breathing, his nose whistling, the scrabbling of his uncut claws. How would I ever get to sleep without Gabe's familiar scaring noises and his spooky green ooze? It was no use. Gabe would be gone for a week, and I just had to have a monster. I climbed quietly out of bed so my parents wouldn't hear me. Grown-ups have some strange ideas about monsters under beds. I knocked on the floorboards, then scrambled back under my covers. I waited nervously. Would a new monster appear? What would he be like? Would his snorting be as cheerful as Gabe's? When I heard some creaking under my bed, I knew that the substitute monster had arrived. "Good evening," he said in a low, breathy voice. "My name is Herbert, and I will be your monster for the evening." Herbert? What kind of name is that for a monster? You don't sound scary at all. Have you ever scared a kid before? Well, no, but I have read all the best books on the topic. Do you have long teeth and scratchy claws? I asked. No, but I have an overbite and I'm about a mouth breather. Listen. Herbert's panting was kind of scary, but it wasn't enough for me. Listen, Herbert, I'm sorry. I just don't think this is going to work. It's nothing personal, but I really need a monster with claws. "Picky, picky," Herbert complained. "As you wish, I'll go." There was some more creaking. Then Herbert was gone. Some scratching warned me that a second monster had appeared. "Good evening," he said in a high, silky voice. "My name is Ralph. I understand you need a monster with claws. If you would please lean over, I will hold out my arm for inspection." I crouched on the edge of the bed, hoping to see a horrible, shaggy arm with sharp, ragged nails. Instead, I was surprised to see sleekly brushed fur with smooth, shiny claws. "Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude," I asked, "but is that nail polish on your claws?" "Yes, it is," Ralph replied. "I believe professional monsters should always be well groomed." I could tell this was not going to work either. "I'm sorry to disappoint you, Ralph, but I need a monster with scary claws." Like Gabe's, I thought. I heard some more scratching, and I knew Ralph was gone. A minute later, a third voice from under the bed rasped, "Check out these claws, kid." I gathered my courage and peered over the edge. The claws were impressive, jagged and dark and razor sharp. So far, so good. I was a little nervous. "Could you stick out your tail?" I whispered. "Sure, but don't get scared." I peeked through my fingers at the slimy tail slithering over the foot of my bed. That's when I noticed the bow. "Are you a girl monster?" "Of course I am," she snapped. "I'm Cynthia. Do you have a problem with that?" Yeah, I do," I admitted. "I definitely need a boy monster. Boy monsters are for boys, and girl monsters are for girls. Everybody knows that." "Well, aren't you a picky one?" she sniffed. And then she was gone. Was I being too picky? No! I knew that my monster needed to be well-clawed and menacing. The whole point of having a monster, after all, was to keep me in bed, imagining all the scary stuff that could happen if I got out. Then I heard a shuffling noise and some slobbering. A fourth monster was under my bed. "Hey, the name's Mac." One look at his claws proved that Mac was a big, scruffy boy monster. I shivered. Maybe this one would work out. "Those are excellent claws, but do you have a long tail?" I leaned over to see. "No, my tail is stumpy," Mac slipped. "But I do have an unusually long tongue." "Why would I be afraid of a long tongue?" I asked. "Oh, I don't know," he said, trying to sound terrifying. "Never know when I might lick you." I fell back on the bed laughing. "Well, if you're not even going to try to work with me," Mac whined. I held in my giggles. "I really don't think you should send me away," he warned. "Kids who reject 5 monsters in one night—" "I did not reject 5 monsters tonight," I interrupted. "My regular monster went fishing." "Fishing, eh? Maybe you just left because you're so picky. Fine, I'm out of here. But I wouldn't expect another monster tonight if I were you." How was I ever going to get to sleep without my monster? I was surprised to hear more creaking under my bed. Loud creaking. With scratching. I thought no more monsters were going to appear tonight, I said. Sorry I'm late, kid. Whew, it was Gabe. I thought I would enjoy fishing, but I didn't, he explained. Those fish scare too easily. No challenge at all. You, however, are challenging, my friend. You're almost too old to be afraid of monsters. You keep me on my toes. Ah, toes, a delicious snack. The bed quivered as Gabe's stomach rumbled with hunger. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to start the evening with an ominous puddle of drool. I peeked over the edge of the bed. Green ooze spread soundlessly from underneath. Then the bed trembled as Gabe unfurled his spiked tail. He was daring me to guess where he might pop up. I shivered. So, you had some substitute monsters tonight, Gabe said, sharpening his claws on my bedpost. Were you scared? Then Gabe started tapping. I could tell he wanted to know if I still needed him. No other monsters can scare me like you, I giggled, diving under my covers and pulling them up tight. Through the blanket, I heard Gabe's soft, comforting snorts. Ha! I knew it. We're made for each other, he growled. When my blanket started to slip off the bed, I knew Gabe was ready to eat. Now, if you could please stick out your foot, he said. I'd like to nibble your pinky. I yanked my blanket back up and scrunched my feet in so Gabe couldn't get them. No toes tonight, but you can have this, I offered, pushing a pillow off the bed. I didn't even hear it hit the floor. Gabe was back. The ooze was perfect. Everything was back to normal. I shivered again.
Okay, and that's the end.
Johnny!
Now let me get this back to a dark screen. Sarai, would you turn the lights on, please?
It's not cool.
Good. Now I think I can get there. Thank you, boys and girls, for listening closely to that. Caitlin, you need to put that in your desk. Don't get that out again, all right? Now, raise your hand if you remember taking iStation tests on the computer and doing lessons on the computer. Good. Now, there's a part on there, hands down, there's a part on there called vocabulary. And the reason we're studying prepositions, Caleb, eyes on me. Caitlin, I'll give it back later if you're good. Is because vocabulary is a part on our iStation. Now, that's a part that we have a little bit of a problem with still. Caleb, look at me. Haven, look at me. We have a hard time with the vocabulary parts at times. If you're looking down at the carpet right now, where are you supposed to be looking?
At you!
That's right, because we need to learn how to know more vocabulary words. We need to learn more vocabulary words. And there's a part on that test that might say something like, on the iStation, that might say something like, click on the picture of the monster under the bed. Or it might say, click on the picture of the dog that is beside the bed. And if you don't know under or beside, then that makes it hard. So this will help you with your reading, understanding the books that you're reading and sentences that you're reading, and it'll help you with your testing. Now, are there any questions about what prepositions are?
No.
What, Anna-E?
What do they do?
What do they do? Well, they go in a sentence and they tell us where something is. Caitlin, come over here. Have a seat. And they help us to understand what we're reading and make it more fun and exciting. Okay, now what is this?
A bed!
All right, I'm going to put this bed on the smart board. A little bit lower. put a bed there after we just watched I Need My Monster?
Cause we're gonna
Raise your
do it.
Raise your hand, Caleb. Yes, Caleb?
Cause we're gonna do it.
We're going to do what?
I needed my monster in my bed.
And it has something to do with this, right? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to use this bed and we're going to work on prepositions that are in that story. Like, I want somebody to come up. Who wants to come up here and put this, what is this word? Okay, Joel. He's going to come put it where it needs to go to show that it's what?
Under.
Very good. Under the what?
Bed.
Right. Okay. Let's see if he can do it. Where would you put it? And it won't hurt the smart board, I don't think. Yeah. Is he correct?
Yes.
He has 3 seconds to pick a girl. Now, what is this word, everyone?
Beside.
She's going to put it where she thinks beside should go. And it can be, you know, you don't have to stick it on the actual picture. Let's see where she puts it. Maybe move it over a little bit more to the right. Is it correct?
Yes.
Yes. This is beside the bed, right? Okay, to the side of it. All right, she's going to pick a boy. 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And Haven, you need to sit up. Crisscross applesauce. What is this word?
Over there.
Okay. I wonder where we would put something that's over. Think about, Samuel, think about if someone was jumping over a log or jumping over a chair or something like that, which we wouldn't do in school, right? Jumping over a hurdle, maybe in track.
A wall.
Maybe he could get a helper. Oh, he doesn't even need a helper, does he? Is he correct?
Yes.
Yay! Let's give him a hand. Yay, good job, Samuel. And he just showed over the bed. 3 seconds to pick a girl. Okay, what's her word?
On.
Okay, Danielle, what do you think you're going to do to show on the bed? What would that mean? Let me move hers over a teeny bit because it's kind of covering up the bed, you know? The side, okay. Where would you put that to show on the bed? What do you think? Turn around. Or is it thumbs up or thumbs down? What does that mean?
Yeah.
You got it. Very good. Yes. Excellent. Okay, let's give all those kids a hand for doing that correctly. Good job. Now, we are going to act it out.
The monster.
Act it out. I'm going to take these off. And just stick these over here so that we remember these. I'll put them over there later. Okay, now here is a funny what?
The bed is hanging.
Yes, the bed is hanging. We don't want that. Okay, here is a funny monster, right? Okay, now who wants to put it?
I want to.
Okay, Sadie. Oh, no, wait, hold on. Yeah, that'd be good. Sadie. Okay, Sadie, I want you to put it over the bed. Is she right?
Yes.
Yay! Sadie, pick a boy. Raise your hand if you have not had a turn.
I have it. Augustine. Oh.
Okay, now Sadie, where do you want him to put the bed? I mean, where do you want him to put his monster? Do you want him to put his monster maybe on or what is this word?
Under.
All right, so he's going to put it under.
Very good.
You know, I'm just going to write the words on. That'd be easier, wouldn't it? Okay, is he correct?
Yes.
Very good. Pick a girl.
Miss Addington, this fell.
Okay, so we've already got.
Two.
We'll write them later. on an E. Okay, which preposition have we not done yet? Do you remember?
On.
On. Okay.
Under.
Very good, Sarai.
Beside.
Oh, she needs tape. She's tape. On. She's going to put it on. Like Sarai said. Okay, show me what it would look like if it was, on the bed.
On top. I'm going to take by side. Beside?
See your little monster? He's going to go on the bed. So what would it, think about what you would do if somebody told you to go on the bed.
Put it on the pillow.
Shh. Maybe she needs a little helper.
Me.
3 seconds to pick a helper. Now, would this be on the bed? No, this is above the bed.
Oh my God.
Under the bed. So what do you remember where we put the word on?
Yes.
You can help her. You can help her.
That's so easy.
Go ahead and put it on there.
On is so easy.
Good.
Oh no.
Now she'll know what on the bed is. Thank you for helping her. Okay. We have another one. What have we not done yet? Okay, on it, gets to pick a boy. Boys, raise your hand if you haven't gotten a turn yet.
Caleb.
What did we not do yet?
Beside.
Very good. Okay.
Beside.
Yeah. Does it have to be on this side or can it be on that side?
Any side.
Any side. That is so good. Okay, eyes up here. Tell me the words that we have been learning.
Under.
Does anybody know how to spell on? Wait. Nevin, Ellaby, tell me.
O. N.
Oh, you're so smart. That's so good, Nevin. Raise your hand if you want to tell me how to spell beside. I'm going to hide it so you can't see. How do you spell beside? Raise your hand. Haven, spell beside.
Beside.
Very good. Didn't make my age so good there. Excellent. Now, who wants to tell me another one? Can you even think of another one? Rita. Which one do you want to tell me?
Over.
Very good. How would you spell it?
O-V-E.
O-V-E. Wait a minute. Shh. Wait a minute. She needs a bossy R, right? How would you spell it, Yadida, with the bossy R on the
O.
How did you say it?
R.
Not quite. Who would like to help her? I'm not going to pick you if you are not sitting down. First of all, put your hands up. Okay? Shh. Justin, what letter do we need on the end of over? Over. Now, Yadida. Yadida, spell over for me.
O-V-R-E.
Spell it again.
O-V-E-R.
Very good. Okay. Do we have one more? We do. Yes. You mentioned it. What's the last one that we need to do? Okay, spell it for me, Augustine.
U-N.
Say it. What's the word?
Under.
Okay, you need to get your hands in your lap and sit crisscross right now. All right, spell it again.
U-N-E.
Under.
D.
Yeah.
R.
Now, wait a minute.
E.
We're going to have a bossy R, but what comes before the R?
E.
All right. And then the R. Okay, everybody read the words. Go.
All beside, over, under. Beside, under.
Stop. Don't yell. All right, eyes on me. Uh-oh. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Shh. Who's frozen? Who's frozen like a popsicle? Okay, Sam. Now, you know what? We're going to do this as part of our workstation.
Me.
Wait. What we're going to do later is you're going to see some words mixed up, and it's going to make a sentence, and you're going to put the correct preposition in the sentence, okay? And we'll talk about that more in a little while. So that will help you with your writing. Caleb, I need you to go over there. You're still talking. Okay? Then we have a booklet that Augustine is already excited about. My
Monster is under my bed.
You get to draw a
Yay!
monster on each page and where it's going to be. And they have a little bed there. And you can color it to with your crayons.
Are you going to have to pick?
And then you can take it home today. Okay, so we'll do that later. Now, who can remember what we call these words? Wait, don't yell it out. Don't yell it out, Michael. It starts with a P. P. You got it. Say it louder. Shh. Did you hear him? He was so good. Say it again louder. Preposition. Everybody say preposition. Sometimes they call it position word. Now, shh. If we know these, how will this help us? When we know words like these, how will this help us, Soraya? Are you listening to her answer? Are you listening? She just said it will help you with your iStation reading, and it will help you to understand what?
Your word.